Panago Pizza presents SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
What does smart insider man have to say?
Breaking news, rumblings.
Chatter.
Of a trade between the Senators and Blue Jackets. Players removed from the ice with the AHL club this morning, although this tweet doesn't specify which AHL club.
I was about to say, that's kind of important.
No information in terms of what level this might be. Stay tuned. At NHL Network. Ooh. Now,
I'm going to make an assumption.
who said it?
Well, sort of spoiled it for me there, Adam.
Well, you got Brian Lawton
You got Brian Lott.
and you got Eklund. However, we are hearing from Aaron Portzline now, 2 minutes ago. Word in Cleveland is that Columbus prospect Vitaly Abramov was pulled off ice during practice this morning. Could be headed to Ottawa.
Oh, that's going to piss off so many stats nerds.
Now, I
think Ian Tulloch was pushing for him to be. I love Ian because he's like, no, in the fifth round, we need to get this guy. And
we need better Gardine.
Yes, literally that. Except Abramov is the opposite of that. I believe he's very tiny. I can't remember. But I believe he was beating the drum of, damn it, we need Abramov in the fifth or sixth round.
So
And he's been good.
he has been good. Now, this is interesting just because of the fact that I did maybe suggest an Ottawa-Columbus trade a couple weeks ago. But
Yeah, you get a lot of things right on this show. You don't give yourself credit. You're like, I think this would be a good idea. And a few months later, NHL teams decide, you're right. Yes, we will do that.
wouldn't it be funny if... And
They listen to our show and base their team off our show.
Wouldn't it be funny if Panarin ends up in Ottawa for a hot second? Like I said.
Like Olli Jokinen, but good?
Yeah, but like then they flip him again. Because remember I had mentioned that, right?
Three-way trade. Are they really going to try to pull off a three-way trade in like 3 days?
As long as it doesn't involve the San Jose Sharks, they can do a three-way trade.
Gosh.
Do not deal with the Sharks anymore, guys.
Gosh, Pierre, jeepers. You cannot pull off this festival in 6 to 8 weeks.
So
Pierre, we need at least a few months of preparation. You're going to start selling Mark Stone and Matt Duchene on 3 days' notice? Jeepers.
you know,
I love that guy. I don't even know his name.
is it Gary? Not Gary. The water guy. What's his the event planner for Fire Festival? Andy.
Andy!
Andy King.
Is
Andy
it
King.
Andy?
Is it not?
Andy.
Yeah, it's Andy King.
Sorry.
Also-
I've watched that documentary enough times to like know names. Calvin Wells?
Also, the same Andy from Toy Story. All grown up. You feel old now?
Adam, just the worst. You were starting on such a high.
No.
To add to what you were saying, it wasn't just Aaron Portzline confirming the report, or confirming the suspicions anyway. It was also Arthur Staple,
Oh.
who I saw by accident on my phone, and I'm sorry.
Do we get to the part of the
Here we
story
go.
where...
Here we go. We got.
Oh, what?
We got a name.
No, go ahead.
We got a name. Elliot Friedman. There is traction to this. Columbus and Ottawa working on a Duchene deal.
There it is.
Interesting. Oh, so the plot thickens then. Does this make it more or less likely that there's a Panarin deal? Because, dude, if you have the Blue Jackets and add Duchene, come on.
Yeah.
You can maybe do this thing. In the Metro where it's wide the hell open.
I wouldn't move Panarin. If I'm moving for Duchene, I wouldn't move Panarin because I feel like I could re-sign Duchene because don't they have like $30 million going into the summer? So you can sign Duchene. You could give him the max term he
I
wants.
think Duchene ends up back in Ottawa. I genuinely do.
I think you're insane.
I think he
you're
does.
insane.
Oh, but
Duchene.
wait, after
No,
this
I didn't
trade,
want-
they can't offer him the 8.
They can offer him 7.
Interesting.
No, I don't.
You think they trade him and then they sign him back?
That was suggested by Kipper.
that's
No.
a big
I
delicious
think it was-
no.
No? Big, delicious no.
yeah.
We did also say no when Kipper suggested that the Caps would win the Stanley Cup and fire their coach. And then that happened.
Yep.
So I'm not going to rule out anything Kiprio says at this point because no matter how unbelievable it sounds, it might happen.
I remember that first year with Austin Matthews. We had him on right before the show, or right before the season, and I said, what are the Leafs now? Matthews, Marner, Nylander, these new guys. He said they are what Freddie Anderson makes them out to be.
And we're like, oh, shut up. And then
Wow.
God, where would they be without Freddie?
They are
Yeah.
literally 3 years of whatever Freddie Anderson is, they are.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
So we're going to follow that trade. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with Ottawa, but we are going to start with Toronto, as we always do.
Might as well.
Now, the Leafs lose in Washington, but there was some positivity, and I'm going to read Dom Lecision from the report cards.
Some positivity from
Some Dom,
me, and I don't think anyone else.
Well, the expected goals is 3.3 for the Capitals and 3.73 for the Leafs.
Oh, okay.
So it was a pretty even game in terms of play, even though the score didn't reflect that, and that happens. But Dom gave Mike Babcock a 5-star rating in his report card. Now, here's what he said.
And I'm struggling to find fault here.
Janssen to the Matthews line, Nylander earning over 17 minutes, a defensive hierarchy of Riley, Gardner, Muzzin, Dermott, Hainsey, Zaitsev in that order, just 5 minutes of ice time for the fourth line, Matthews and Tavares both playing 20 minutes. What planet am I on? He finally did it!
He finally did it.
And they played a good game!
An excellent game from Babcock, an excellent game from the Leafs. I am going to take away part marks on one of those, though. He switched to, I think it was Riley Gardner, when the Leafs needed goals. How about, in hockey, you always need goals, and just switch to that full time, and enough of the Riley Hainsey nonsense, which they started the game with. Enough!
Yeah.
And Hainsey had a good game.
Yeah.
He had a good game. He stopped
He's looked
Ovechkin
better
a couple
since
times.
his role has diminished. What a shock.
Well, and then when they increased the minutes, I was just like, boy, I recognize this old man again. By the way, we were talking about the term millennial.
Yeah.
Ron Hainsey's a millennial.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, technically he is, yeah.
Ron Hainsey is
Ron Hainsey's a millennial.
Yes. So people keep using millennial to mean young person. No, stop that. Ron Hainsey is technically, by definition, a millennial.
This year it's 24 to 39?
I
Is it
guess
millennial?
so. But
It's
like the word doesn't mean what it scientifically means by the definition. It just means, hey, a young person is doing something stupid.
No, but
Yo,
there's so
is
many
what it's used
times
in
where like
context
I
as.
hear it in reference to like high school students, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Patty-
they're not. They're not that.
Does
Yeah,
that mean
no.
Patty Marlowe's a millennial too? He's 39?
No, he's
No.
Or is he going to be 40?
No, he's 40. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about
He's just past millennial.
another one that exploded
Patrick
my
Marlowe
head?
is 1 year shy of millennial.
Another one that exploded my head, mostly because he's so mature and we're so not. Is Chris Johnston's a millennial.
Yes, he is.
And Chris is what, 2-3 years older than us?
I don't even know.
Doesn't he seem he's the guy who's like, "Hi, I'm Chris and I have sage wisdom," and we're like, "Ah!" all the time.
And he's
And
just
we're only literally it's a matter of months that separate us.
really good Instagram, Chris Johnson. Because all he does is post like scenics. Hey, look at me, I'm jogging, and quotes from the Daily Stoic. It's really inspirational.
It's anyone born 1981 to I don't have the
94?
end dates. I believe 94. I don't have the end, but it's 1981 to 90 something.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ron Hainsey,
Wow.
millennial. Noted
Ron
millennial.
Hainsey, noted millennial. That's crazy. Now, obviously, Washington deserves credit. Of
Yes.
course, Tom Wilson has to score. Of course,
Yes.
Ovi has to score his, 650th against the Leafs?
Of course.
Of course it has to happen that way.
He's got so many milestones coming up, and I
Yeah.
feel like they're all against Toronto.
That's okay.
And he's gonna win the Rocket again this year,
It's unbelievable. He's going to score 50 in his sleep.
which is stupid.
If he goes on, if he quiets down, he'll hit 50. Like, he's so good.
My dream, this is what I'm hoping for, if I could wish for one hockey thing to happen, it's that Ovi passes Wayne Gretzky for most goals all time.
It's going to be years from now.
Yeah.
4
But
years.
I'm willing to put money down.
He's gonna get
It's gonna
close.
be longer than 4 years.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna put money down. Alex Ovechkin passes Wayne Gretzky.
Well, hang on here. Let's say he scores 50 goals next season,
Yeah.
and he's at 700. Now he's
know.
2 50-goal seasons away. 4 seasons? Is it really that far after this one?
But it's ridiculous he's scoring 50 still. At some point, Father
Well,
Time.
here's what I would say. If I'm the Capitals, I set up my lines like, I don't care if Ovechkin can even skate anymore, as long as he can shoot. It doesn't matter if he can. He's not a rush guy. He's a fire the
but he
damn
is
puck.
sometimes.
Well, he is sometimes, and that's
Yeah.
great. But like, with a guy with a shot like that, it's what I don't understand about the Leafs with Matthews. With a shot like that, just set him up for the shot. Like the
Matthews doesn't really do one timers.
that Matthews hook shot is one of the most deadly.
And
Why
he had a great game.
why
too.
are we not throwing to that as much as possible. You know, and that's what the Caps have always done really well with Ovechkin. It's, you know where he's going to stand, you know where he's going to shoot. Every goalie knows where it's coming from, and yet none of them can stop it. And it's 650 times he's done it.
Teams play Matthews so tight now. Because they know if they give him any space. He got the hook shot last night against the Caps, but I think someone got their stick on it or whatever. What happens so often with Matthews' shot is I find it ends up in the netting.
Yes.
But
because there's like a tip here or a tip there. And if it's Nylander's shot, it doesn't hit anyone and it goes into the stadium somewhere.
Sometimes. Frig, he had a great game too.
He sure did.
Like,
well, I want to get to him.
Yeah,
but
sure.
hang on,
And just before we end that, just the Gretzky number is closer to 900's 894. So it's not 800. It's 900 that he's got to get to.
Oh, right.
And
is that the professional game? Like, is that
no,
the
that's just
no,
NHL.
That's
just NHL, but it's
shit.
894. Okay. Yeah.
Professional, I want to say it's a hair over 1,000.
We brought this up like in the fall, but when the Washington Post wrote the article and they did the numbers, they said he has a 34% chance right now at breaking that number.
I like that number 34.
That's not
now,
crazy.
is that a James Reimer 34 or Matthews 34?
Ooh, Austin's going to pass Ovi.
There you go.
Here we go.
All right, so let's focus a little bit on the Tom Wilson thing, because of course Tom Wilson scores, and naturally what you get is, well, the Leafs need a Tom Wilson. They need a guy who's strong and bite and blah 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 blah. What you saw from the Leafs last night, to me, is a step towards what the Leafs should have been all season.
Well, and you know what they were in the second half against St. Louis is a step towards what they should have been all game. The reaction to this game is 100% based in it's really close to the trade deadline. They happen to have lost 3 straight. If this loss comes after winning 2 in a row, if this loss comes after a win, we're barely talking about it. At least by Toronto standards.
What are they,
we don't care.
6-3-0 or 6-3-1 in the last? Like, they're not.
They're
the record's not bad.
If you're gonna lose the way the Leafs did last night. John Carlson got a penalty because he interfered with Zach Hyman. He stopped him from scoring a sure goal.
Right.
It was a penalty worth taking. Leafs tie the game up. Who knows what we're talking about? Caps probably don't score that shorty. Like, I don't know. Me, of all people, I think of the meltdowns I have had this season alone, this month alone, and I can't find a reason to be mad about last night.
Can you do me a favor?
What?
Just like one little thing. Adam, I think you'll also want this favor done.
Let's do it.
Steve, the next time the Leafs lose, can you remember this moment? Because
yes, I'll try.
Tuesday, you weren't like this. On Monday night, you weren't like this. You were the sky is falling guy. And Babcock is terrible.
I know.
So what happens the next time the Leafs lose a tight game? It
depends how they lose it. It depends how... There are different kinds of tight games.
Yeah.
You know?
Because why is it okay to be calm now, but on Monday the sky was falling?
They did more things I liked in this game than they did against St. Louis.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
You know, the way the deployment of players and lines and stuff, I get that.
But so this is where they should be and where they are.
Yeah, I mean, when you... The Stanley Cup champions lose games in the regular season and playoffs. I said it before. The Penguins, when they won back-to-back cups... Regular season and playoffs lost 83 games.
And they fired their head coach.
And
Punched him in the face.
And genitals.
Wow.
And they called him a cab. Oh, that was the other team.
No. They punched him in the face, too.
I did like this tweet.
Where's this show going?
I did like this tweet last night. Give the Caps credit for being the 60th consecutive team to play a clean game against the Leafs.
Oh, it's just shocking. It was so funny. I love... Oh, God. Ray Ferraro was at his Ray Ferraro-iest, where he's like, oh, the Leafs are going to get a power play here because Ovechkin kicked the stick. Oh, no. It's the other way around.
And then Ovi scores on the power play.
I didn't tweet it because I didn't want to put it into the world, but the moment that happened, I'm like, Alex Ovechkin is scoring a goal here. Mm-hmm. Sure enough. And then, so the Leafs had their chances. They didn't go in. Braden Holtby played an excellent game. I disagreed with the officiating. The Leafs, I believe, are still second last in the league in penalties drawn. Come on. You lose games sometimes.
You do.
The St. Louis one was much more frustrating. Guys went down to injury. I didn't like the deployment. They had a bad start again. But from the opening faceoff last night, they looked better than the Washington Capitals.
Well, it was like the game that the Leafs played against Tampa earlier in the season.
That's what I compared it to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Vasilevsky.
And no one cared.
Because they played well. And the Leafs would have been winning.
Well, and it wasn't their third straight loss.
Right.
Right? So this one was their third straight. And now everyone gets to go, the first time this season they've lost 3 straight games or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, and you know what else? This is a good thing, Leafs fans. You want to know one mental good thing? Is it's just wins and losses now. It's just wins and losses. Remember going, they got a point. We don't have that conversation anymore. Mm-hmm. Just get the point. We don't have that conversation anymore. Losses in overtime. We haven't had a loss in the shootout. There hasn't been one. Losses in overtime are just treated as losses. The Leafs have several wins worth of overtime losses. You know what I mean? Because of that stupid rule. But in the playoffs, that's what it is.
Yep.
A lot of what the Leafs do, or a lot of the situations the Leafs find themselves in, are based in the playoffs. Like, people talk about, the grit and toughness that they need. Well, there's only wins and losses in the playoffs. There's fewer penalties in the playoffs, and the Leafs have been playing with that scenario all season long. So, it's good to me. Good to me.
Now, William Nylander looked amazing. He had a great line.
Yes.
And
I'm interested as to what you're about to say.
And Connor Brown was on that line. Hey, Connor Brown looked good.
Yes, he did.
Andreas Janssen, Mr. Mango, looking great.
Yeah. Connor Brown.
Why Mr. Mango?
Oh, we call him Mango now.
He calls himself Mango.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
And I don't understand.
Is there a reason for that?
Probably the SNL bit, maybe. I don't know. Who cares? Let's not get in the way of our own selves.
I had it explained to me, and that's why I don't call him Mango anymore.
Oh, is it bad?
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay.
So anyway.
All right. Let's not call him that. It's Andreas Janssen.
Andreas Janssen. Yanni. So,
Christ, can anyone have any fun anymore?
No, I know. So anyway, Connor Brown. I'm glad you brought up Connor Brown because there was a play where he was in front of that very early in the game, and this was another one Ferraro was talking about, and he would have experience with this. Brooks Orpik gives him a cross check like right in one of the vertebrae. Like there's nothing there, and Brown, to his credit, just kind of went fuck and dealt with it and skated off the ice. The Capitals gave a little bit of a lesson in this game, especially as the season progresses, that the Bruins seem to give the Leafs every time they play them. They're experts in shenanigans you can get away with. No refs calling that.
No.
No refs calling the little cross-check after the whistle. The little one, you didn't even knock him down.
Hey, and I just want to say I'm personally grateful that the Caps are still playing Brooks Orpik. It's good for the Leafs.
Why not? Why? I mean, it didn't help him last night, but it almost did. And like Matt Niskanen last night, who was it? I think it was Zach Hyman. Just like shoves him, like after the whistle or whatever. And it made me realize something because I'm looking at it, going, what a dick. Like, are the refs gonna call anything? And a little voice goes, Steve, what are they gonna call? He shoved him after the whistle. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not nice. This is the conversation going in my head, by the way.
With Iggy.
No, he wasn't even there. I wish I had that to fall back on. I go, well, that's not nice. Well, since when do they award penalties for not being nice? The Leafs need to be assholes. The Leafs need to be more unpleasant to play against. I don't think it's about toughness or size or grit. Just be a shit.
So let me stop
Brendan
you there.
Gallagher's a shit. Just be a shit.
Let me stop you there.
Sure.
Because of that, there is a narrative that is being tossed around by people who are former general managers. And in
players.
Double B.
And my thinking on it is that there's a reason why that doesn't work anymore, and maybe perhaps there's a reason why they're former general managers. Because I think it's total crap. But based on the game, Brian Burke loves to talk about it. Don Cherry loves to talk about it. How the Leafs need to airlift in some grit from one guy, and how that one guy is somehow going to stop all the rest of these guys. Now, I would say that to Brian's face. I think that's an outdated point of view. That is absolutely outdated.
I'll have the opportunity on Monday. I'm working the trade deadline.
You go ahead and
Brian, you don't know what you're talking about. No, what do you mean I'm being escorted out of the building?
So what would you say when he says that's the reason they lost the last 2 years to Boston?
I would say
not
I
last
would
2
say
years.
that it needs to come internally.
Last 2 times.
What I would say is that the players themselves need to be the guys that pick it up. They can't just here's the thing: you go out and you get grit, okay? So you're going to pay the price for Wayne Simmons, which is probably astronomical, or you're going to go get Zach Cassian and then strap him to Connor McDavid. How well did that work out?
Hey, want to play narrative dominoes? So I keep receipts in my head. The Leafs lost to Boston because Boston bullied them. And then Boston lost to Tampa because Tampa was too fast and too skilled. And then Tampa lost to Washington because Washington bullied them. Like, which is it? Which maybe
a team just outplayed another team.
You know what, Adam? Holy shit.
Wow.
Might have happened. Maybe pucks are shaped. Who thought of that shape for a puck?
You know, we're going to take a baseball and we're going to cut both ends off it.
Screw it. Is it someone like the original Oreo, just the filling? They took off both. Yeah.
No, just the crust, man.
I tried it.
Did it hurt you?
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with it?
Did it hurt you last night, Adam, when Tom Wilson scored a shorthanded goal with a snipe to the top corner?
It always hurts me. Here's the thing about Tom Wilson versus me. Tom Wilson always wins.
There you go.
I mean, I can rail and get mad behind my microphone, but the reality is Tom Wilson's very good at hockey. He's a very effective player for the Washington Capitals. I still think that he maybe needs to chill. But
he's another guy where I was like, what a dick.
He is
but
a
you
dick.
can't give him a penalty for just being a dick.
No.
No.
And his job is to infuriate me and players on the ice. Mostly players on the ice, not me. And he does that every time.
Tripped.
And score sweet cheddar.
Like I can't hate
good
the guy
shot.
for doing what he does.
Yeah.
So, I was getting chirped. Are you and Adam? Jesse somehow skirted the criticism. Are you and
Wow,
Adam?
what a surprise! Jesse somehow didn't get blamed for the
Maybe
criticism.
because I didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. Are you guys going to take back what you said about the Tom Wilson contract in the summer?
No.
Yeah.
And
Take it back.
My answer is no.
No.
My answer is no. He had 34 career goals. Nothing about his career, save for maybe last year's playoff run, suggested he would be worth this money. And you might be going to yourself, what? Just last year's playoff run? That's kind of important, Steve. And I say, yes. But that is a couple dozen games compared to the hundreds before it that suggested he was not worth $5+ million. Congrats to the Caps. Congrats to Tom Wilson. Holy shit, it seems to have worked out.
Right now.
But I'm pretty stunned. And also right now.
That's a long contract.
It's also, none of this matters. I'm waving my Stanley Cup ring in your face.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, which, I mean, God, it's fun.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be enjoying it, though.
Caps fans?
no?
Oh, my God, they're so anxious. The only chill fan base right now,
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay. I don't hear anything from them. They're just enjoying their wacky little lives. Every other fan base is wound so tight. Preds, Jets are a big old ball of stress. Columbus doesn't even know what team they're going to have in 4 days. Poor Ottawa. Calgary. I'm trying to think of the contending teams out there. Like no one. Oh, Islanders fans are feeling themselves.
I don't know
pretty.
if it's Bruce Garrick or Bruce Garriak.
Garriak.
Okay, it is Garriak? Okay. Sens closing in on a deal to send Duchene to Columbus. That's 2 minutes ago.
Wow.
Okay.
So
There it is.
So there it is. It's coming. Anyway, sorry guys. And listen, I don't want to. I'm sure I came across as disrespectful to Brian Burke. I don't want to. That's not my point. My point is you have to remember that there are people on the inside and on the outside, right? And Brian has been on both sides. He's very good at both sides. He won a cup on one side. He's a fucking ratings juggernaut on the other. Everything he says, you can hate it. Everything he says gets shared. Every single thing.
Yep.
That guy is one of the most listened to personalities in Sportsnet. He's been there less than a year. It's amazing. However, doesn't mean I have to agree with him, and it doesn't mean I think his point of view is up to snuff or up to what the game is today, and that's okay. But what I do find frustrating though, and this is kind of the reality of life, is that there's this when Tom Wilson comes to Toronto and scores, the next day you get.
And he loves it.
Oh, he fucking loves it.
He loves it.
He
Of course.
breathes that.
Oh, yeah.
But then the next day we get, well, the Leafs need, and it's just infuriating. What the Leafs need, guys, is a right-handed shot defenseman.
I agree, but can I offer something dumb?
Isn't that this entire show?
Yes.
Aren't we all dumb?
Can I offer something dumber than usual?
Yeah,
Whoa.
once you hit play on this, you should expect something dumb.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
By the
Man,
way-
Steve was really emotional this episode. Like, sometimes I'll read that and I'm like,
By the way,
did you think you clicked on the full 60? This isn't Craig Custance being a professional. This is me being a lunatic.
by the way, open invitation to Brian if he ever wants to join us. I would love to debate that man.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Tell him, hey, you want to come on my podcast? We don't record it in my basement anymore.
I will. He'll be like, good to see you again, Devin. It's Steven. It's Steve. Brian.
That's good.
Listen, here. I would like to... I've met him once, and he wouldn't
I've heard he's
remember
a
my name.
really
Ask
nice
him
guy.
to
But
hold
you
a
know
cookie.
Patrick?
Ask him,
Yes.
ask
Yes.
him to hold a cookie above his head.
I should. He
See
might
how-
do it.
see
Or
how
a
that
duck.
goes.
A
You know
whole
what?
duck above his head.
If it was for like a charitable reason, I bet he'd do it.
He took a picture with the Bunch of Jerks t-shirt.
But that's the thing is that he didn't say that.
Yeah.
And what's funny is a lot of people think he did. A lot of people think he was the one
No,
who said it.
don't. Jerry needs to be the one. Brian Burke didn't say that.
He called
said
it
he didn't like it, but he
Bush
didn't-
League. I think he
Okay.
called it.
Are they sending us shirts?
Oh, I gotta ask for you again. Do you want a shirt as well? A Bunch of Jerk shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were out of the studio. So the Hurricanes sent me a DM asking if I wanted a Bunch
Yes.
of Jerk shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Steve, as he does, didn't follow up.
I forgot.
The Canes DM'd you, and you didn't follow up with the Canes.
Which is the most Steve thing to ever happen.
No. Sorry. I sent them my mail information.
Oh.
Not you guys.
Well, that's
No,
fine.
but since the point we had this conversation, you have not followed up with, hey, can you send shirts
gonna
for the
message- I'm gonna
podcast?
message them right
what
now.
we're doing and let him follow up with the NHL team?
Someone just DM'd me, Duchene is a BJ? Okay, listen, guys, can we stop with that? Okay, here. Carolina.
This is why Steve didn't want me to get Snapchat. He's like, I just thought you'd get penis pictures.
Yes, no, that's...
Nobody did. No. But you got one, right?
How?
Of
Adam,
course I'm going to get one.
while Steve finishes up following up with the NHL, how do you think he's going to defend his point of the Leafs need to be more gritty?
I think he's going to say this, and I'm going to blow Steve's point of view because
Yeah.
I think we have the same one.
Large?
Large.
And extra large.
XL.
Okay.
2XL.
You're not 2XL.
Give me
are
a 2XL.
Do you actually want
you're
to do
not.
that?
Yeah, I want
It's not a
2XL.
dress.
Do
Why
it.
don't I just order a bunch of jerks?
Although
tents?
I've seen
What?
you
Do
did,
it.
You did wear what did you wear to in Montreal last year for that music festival you were at?
Oshiega?
Yeah, what was that?
My kimono?
Dude. You
I can rock
who can pull that
I
off.
can rock a kimono.
You rocked that thing. That was awesome.
How do you think Steve's going to defend his
I think-
grittiness take?
I think Steve already kind of alluded to it, which is you have to be a jerk intentionally. And that's not to say that you need to start chirping or that you need to start throwing dirty hits or elbows or knees or whatever. Sometimes it's just, hey, you're skating to the bench, and like what Leo Komarov used to do was like he'd just get oh man, my stick just got caught in your ribs. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, no.
Oh no. And that's the kind of shit where imagine Mitch Marner does that and they try to call Mitch Marner for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Imagine Austin
Lars
Matthews.
Eller fully held Connor Brown's stick last night.
Oh
It was
yeah.
so annoying.
Lars Eller's a huge dick though.
I know.
But Lars Eller's good at being that.
It's a great example of if you're going to get the penalty, you might as well take a chunk of them with you.
The thing is with the Leafs currently, you got guys who are much better. Their zone is non-reactive guys. So you're talking about, Tavares, who doesn't react to things. He didn't even react to the puck flying at the bench, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You got-
He's relatively chill, but he's gotten into a few scrums this year.
You get Matthews who gets cross-checked and hit and whatever, but he's so big it doesn't matter.
And he's starting to give it back.
Is he?
Sometimes I forget how young he is, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And he's
God,
very,
I'm so
and
excited.
he's so huge already.
yeah, he's a big boy. He's
big, lucky
Nylander?
player.
Nylander's a guy that doesn't give it back because he's a non-reactive.
He's
Marner is a non-reactive because no one ever touches Marner because he's too fast.
Marner's very svelte. Nylander is an underrated little bowling ball. He's a lot thicker with so many C's than people give him credit for.
Thick.
Yeah, thick.
So Steve, answer Jesse's question.
Yeah. So you were going to say,
can
I say something dumb?
I have a suggestion.
Which I assume is, let's get the Leafs to be tougher.
No. Well, yes, I have a solution. I have something very simple that the Leafs could do that might toughen the team up. Which Leafs, who usually find a...
Interrupting, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Matt Duchene official.
Darren Dreger confirming Duchene has been traded to Columbus. Details coming. Duchene said to be excited about trade. No extension talk at this time. Belief is the Blue Jackets are just loading up for the playoffs. I think Panarin stays.
Yeah,
I think he does too.
That's what it looks like.
That is sick for Columbus. Good for them.
Real interesting. Real
All right, sorry,
interesting.
continue.
Who is a Leaf that has had considerable success for a couple years but is struggling this year?
Nazem Kadri?
Nazem Kadri. And he's
Nailed
out of
it.
the lineup right now.
Yep.
What type of
Concussion.
player? Yes. What type of player is Nazem Kadri?
He's a tough guy.
He's
With skill.
cantankerous.
I wouldn't say tough. He's an angry guy. Who
red
can see
mist.
red. Yeah, there you go. With a lot of skill.
Can be hard on the forecheck, lays big hits.
Yeah, occasionally.
I think he'll have a much easier time being the Nazem Kadri the Leafs need him to be in the playoffs on the wing.
You think Nazem Kadri on the wing?
No.
If Nylander, try it for
I
a
would.
few games. Nylander in the middle, and when Kadri gets back, try him out on the wing, and see if Hyman can shift over to the right.
I'd also like to look at this, and
I would think he could. He's a righty.
To your point, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, so it's hard for me to say. We do know that Nylander's pretty good at face-off wins.
Yes.
And we know that Kadri's pretty okay.
And then you still have two centers on the line?
Yep. And
you're taking two line mates and just switching their positions.
I know.
So it doesn't change anything.
I agree, but I think what I'm trying to say is that it's not like removing Kadri from taking face-offs is like a huge loss. He's not a 60% guy.
Do you guys
He's gotten
worry
better.
He's gotten better,
about
100%.
the person and telling Kadri, hey, we're taking roles away from you?
No, you're just changing his role. I don't think it's taking a role away from him at all.
I just think there's a optics thing to moving a center to the wing after that's his entire career, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
How about this? It doesn't need to be a permanent thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be an option. Like, it needs to be something the Leafs can turn to. Like, when they're playing against a certain type of team. The type of player I want him to be in the playoffs and the type of player I want him to be against the Bruins, I just feel like the type of player he is, the type of fire he plays with,
It'd be
I'd
nice for
rather
him to have less responsibility.
Yeah, I'd rather him be on the wing and be the utter pain in the ass I know he can be on the wing. Like Nylander, he piqued my interest last night.
So here's what I'm going to throw out there, and this is not my point of
Doesn't
view.
need to be every night, you know.
This isn't my point of view. I am stealing it directly from our good friend James Myrtle. Is William Nylander's future with the Maple Leafs as a center, and what does that mean for Nazem Kadri? In the article, he makes a pretty good argument that Nylander, by the way, and actually I think Scott Wheeler was tweeting about this too, Nylander seems to him and has seemed to other people like he's always been better at center anyway. He's a little more comfortable. Now, it could have been that the Leafs needed him to be a little bit more responsible at the NHL level before they could put him at center. Mike Babcock, direct quote, said, that line was good.
They were real good.
Mike Babcock said that. Now, one sec. Does that mean, and Myrtle propositions this, and this goes against everything I've ever said, this goes against everything you've ever said, but if Nazem Kadri gets you the right-handed shot stud defenseman that you're looking for, is that a trade you make in the next few days? If he gets you a Brandon Montour, if he gets you a Slavin, if he gets you, I don't know, like I mean, I'm not sure who's on the market, to be quite honest. It could be somebody we haven't thought about yet. But let's say St. Louis was still trading somebody. The name that had been linked to the Leafs was Pietrangelo, right? Mm-hmm. St. Louis isn't trading anybody anymore. Or a Colton Parayko. Because here's the thing, Nas has, I believe, Nas has 3 more years on this contract at $4.5 million. So you need somebody with
nice
major term coming back who's actually a pretty good player as well. So you need one of those steal contracts. I wonder if I wonder if that's something they don't consider. Because you're dealing from a position of strength. And the one thing the Leafs do have in their system still, wingers.
Here's all I would say to that. So I was just on my phone there. Next year, Matthews plus Tavares plus Nylander, assuming Nylander is now the third line center. That's about $29.5 million.
Well, yeah, but they were going to be here anyway.
Top three centers. Yeah, I suppose.
Like,
I don't know. The Nylander's. My whole thing about Nylander's cap hit is I was like, well, yeah, he's going to play with Matthews the whole time, so it's fine.
I'm throwing this out there too. Christian Shilton, no Nazem Kadri, concussion, and no Jake Gardiner, unknown for Leafs practice. Everyone else accounted for.
I don't know if Gardner was. I don't know if he's ever been right since the back thing.
Do you think they flip him, or do you think he's just injured?
No, I think. Oh, you think?
You think he got traded? I think it's I think it's fine.
Listen, it's the trade deadline. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
It sucks because like you got to get out of here to go somewhere in an hour. But like I have a feeling we're gonna be like, but wait.
So, you know, I know that $29 million for your first three centers. Well, it was going to be $29 million for those players anyway, plus whatever Marner costs you.
If anything, you're saving money if you move Kadri's money to defense and bring in somebody who's a entry-level deal.
Bingo!
And you put that on the wing.
Bingo!
Then
Because
you're technically saving money.
You're spreading the money out to different places. Right now, obviously you don't want to destroy a strength to address a weakness.
Yeah.
However, that is a position of strength, and then it allows you to get Trevor Moore into the lineup, Jeremy Bracco into the lineup, maybe you re-sign Tyler Ennis. Steve is... Nothing of what I've said, by the way, in the last 5 minutes is Steve paid attention.
The owner of the Patriots was arrested. Anyway.
You don't need to bring that up.
It's probably for wearing that chain that he keeps wearing.
No, it's terrible.
Doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We didn't need to bring it up.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Sorry. This is why I can't look at my
This is the
phone.
most interesting part of the show.
I know.
We're talking about trading a guy that we would be totally dead set against.
I'm the worst.
Can you please?
I'm the worst.
Please.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Duchene.
You're 100% right.
John Shannon tweeted that Duchene's playing against the Senators
tonight.
What?
Yeah, they're in Ottawa.
That is unbelievable.
So, okay. So I've already... Another reason I was distracted by my phone. I've already been asked to make a video about this. What's the trade?
We don't know.
We still
Don't know yet.
So it's not even out there yet.
Well, here's one of the things that I was going to ask. Do you think that Pierre Dorian gets that first round pick that he's been looking for between... Because here's the thing. I don't know that NHL GMs are willing to give up their first round picks for rentals anymore. Do you... Abramov
Depends.
was not a first round pick.
No.
Was he a fifth round?
But
He's a good prospect.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter what he was. It's what he is.
They used to throw those out like confetti first round picks at the deadline. Now they're like, no, you better see some term, like the Jake Muzzin deal.
I tell you what, if you're trading Matt Duchene, Mark Stone, Ryan Dzingel, even Cody Ceci, who we know has some value throughout the league, you can't not get at least a first. You can't. I think you got to be able to get at least two firsts.
Or if you don't get the first, then do you hang on to them for nothing? Like you haven't been able to work out a deal. They've pushed you to the absolute edge.
It's so bananas that today is the day they decided, all right, we're selling for sure. Now, to give Pierre Dorian some credit, because people are acting like the Sens decided today is the drop dead day. I think they've been talking to teams, the Jets being one of them. I think they've been talking to teams about, if we were to trade this player, here's what it might look like. I think they've been having those discussions for at least a month.
Okay. Now,
but to slam the door on re-signing them today, ballsy.
I'm going to hold you there. If you look at Nazem Kadri,
yes, right. That's what
29 years old, 3 years left on the deal. Do you not look at it and go,
he's younger than that. He's 27.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Does that change the point?
Not really.
No.
He's 28.
I don't know why I threw that out there. So I was wrong too.
So you look at him, he's got 3 years left, 4.5. It's a great, attractive contract. A lot of people are like, man, we need centers. We need them. What can you... And besides right-handed defense in the league, and obviously goaltending, but nobody values that the same.
For some reason.
Centermen are the most valuable thing. Centermen are the most valuable thing. So you could get someone great.
So he's a good value center, which is tough to come by, you
Who's
better get a good value right-handed D in return.
Like a 1-2, because he's a 1-2 center.
Yeah. Like, you can't not get, a good player and good value back. You can't not get that.
Can I just say, as a fan, I don't want to see Nazem Kadri traded.
Sure.
I
Just
also
at
agree
all.
with that.
Sure.
also
I
agree with
want
that.
this guy on the team when they win a cup because he's been here. He's the longest serving Leaf.
Oh, my God.
He holds so much like value just to like memories.
It's a miracle he's a Leaf still.
Yeah.
It's a
2009 he was drafted.
Miracle. By
And
Brian Burke.
And I just would like to see him here for every playoff run that this core has.
He deserves it.
I
Yeah.
mean, the reason I suggested putting him on the wing is I think he'd be good at it. Not because I think he should be phased out. I think it's the way to best utilize Nylander, and I think it's the way to best utilize Naz.
Yeah. But that's an emotional response that I have to trading Kadri. Like, I would be genuinely sad. But I don't know if that's the smartest business.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not.
How-
But you're allowed to have it.
What Panago pizza would help you remedy your depression?
Oh, my
if the Leafs
God.
traded
It was late this
Literally-
episode, but he found it.
Any one of them.
Any
because
one of them.
Panago's that good, my heart would be warmed and I would
Now-
understand.
Would you step outside the pizza zone? Would you get a salad? Would you get wings? Dessert maybe?
Always wings.
Always
I'm so-
dessert.
The wings and bites?
Oh, I'm so weak for wings. I know, and you love dessert. You're
We should have a
focused-
week for wings t-shirt.
Weak for wings.
What is it about wings? Like, are you okay? First off, what kind of wings are you? Hot and spicy, honey garlic, plain, salt and pepper? What do you like?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it can be literally anything.
The answer is yes. No, you know what? I used to be the as hot as possible melt your face off guy. I like a good dry rub. I like different kinds of flavors. Jerk too.
Hold on.
Dry rub and jerk.
How did you? How did you say dry rub? There was
said
the way
it.
you said it.
Dry rub,
Yeah, I was like, I like a good dry rub. It was like, ooh, that's uncomfortable.
And what?
jerk. I didn't think
'Cause that's what we
about
are.
what I was saying when I said it.
So
but-
if you're eating wings and they're jerk wings, are you eating a bunch of jerks?
You cannot eat Justin Williams.
Wow.
That is cannibalism and it's illegal.
It's true. Very, very true.
think.
Panago Pizza only uses the finest chicken for chicken wings. Just throwing that out there.
And okay, people take pride in their sauce, in their wing sauce. But listen, don't friggin' lather the thing in it. Don't lather because no, I like
You don't like to lather the rub?
I like a wing put together with purpose.
Got the
Not
trade.
thrown together, and Panago does that.
Sorry, I got the details for the trade. Duchene and Julius Bergman headed to Columbus. Abramoff, Davidson, and picks the other way. A first rounder included, but checking on conditions. Bob McKenzie believes it's a first rounder. Abramoff and Davidson for Duchene and Bergman, plus a conditional first
So 2 firsts.
if Duchene signs. Wow, 2 firsts.
Wait, is that 2 firsts? I don't know if it
Conditional.
is.
I believe it's a first rounder. Plus a conditional first to Ottawa if Duchene signs. Yeah, that's all in one tweet, guys. That could be 2 firsts.
Interesting, or it might just be worded weird, but okay. Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow. So Bergman is one of the prospects the Sens got in the Carlson deal. He's 23 years old, defense, right-handed shot. He had a good year last year with the Barracuda. Goodish. 10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points. This year in 33 games with Belleville, who has actually been doing well. 33 games. So
Hopefully they found places for everyone to live.
Oh my God. 0 goals, 6 assists. Doesn't take a lot of penalties. Just doesn't really seem to be a big old ton
So it's
there.
like Duchene and Guy.
It's kind of Duchene and Guy. Which Guy you got in return for Carlson. Mm-hmm. It's not very good. Let me
yeah,
look up
that's right.
Abramov real quick because I know he's been unreal.
Here's something I want to tweet that I probably will tweet. When do we get to start talking about Duchene to Ottawa from Colorado as one of the worst NHL trades of all time?
Oh my God.
Oh, I think we've already started.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah.
Very
Now
soon.
that there's a
people will
conclusion.
I can't wait to
argue
do the
you on
trade
that.
tree.
People will argue with you on that because they'll say, well, look at what they got for Duchene. However, the trade in a vacuum on its own is, I don't know how you get much worse.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of very many examples where it worked out. Like, the Martin Erad for Philip Forsberg deal's up there.
That's a thing.
Like,
Tuukka Rask for Andrew Raycroft, man.
Yeah, that's a
bad
good one.
too.
Yeah.
Terrible. And Boston still doesn't like Tuukka Rask.
But like that is like even Hall for Larson. There's something about like Rask for Raycroft and Hall for Larson where they're just whiffs. You traded good player for bad player, or player for good player for not as good player.
And we're
It's too
forgetting
simple.
that Raycroft in his first season set the wins record all time for the Leafs.
Tied the win
Tied
record
it.
that
Tied it.
Freddie has thankfully wiped away from the record books. Oh my God. Yeah, but the complexity of the Duchene deal and the circumstances around it. He wanted to be traded away from Colorado to play in the playoffs.
He asked for this.
The Sens literally plummeted into the Earth's crust the moment that trade was made.
Yeah.
It's nothing about
I
it
wonder
is
if this
good.
trade will sink the Blue Jackets.
Oh my. Okay. If Columbus misses the playoffs, he gets offered league min next year, right? Can you imagine?
How would Columbus miss the playoffs?
Just for fun.
Because I don't know, the locker room.
The universe.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I you know what, to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy for Matt Duchene. It's been a rough 4 years.
He doesn't seem like a bad guy.
No, and Columbus, by the way, on the outside looking in the playoffs right now.
You're joking.
No, 69 points. Carolina and Montreal are ahead of them in the wild card.
Tell
70
me it's lottery protected.
The condition,
What if Ottawa picks first anyway?
the condition is only if Duchene resigns for the conditional. So if the Blue Jackets are able to re-sign Duchene, not only they get this year's, but they probably got next year's pick as well.
That's a brilliant deal for
It's a
Ottawa.
That's a good haul.
That is a phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, because what
That's
if
not
they
bad.
lose all? Oh, that's if he resigns.
If he resigns, but they
So
get,
what if he resigns, but they lose Panarin and Bobrovsky?
But they'll get a first like Ottawa's getting a first anyway out of this. But yeah. I mean, I think
No,
they're
that's what I'm saying. No, next year
They're gonna
Columbus might be bad,
They're going to lose both of those. Oh, you're right.
or at least not as good.
Maybe it's not lottery protected.
Which I mean, the Caps.
I don't think they're going to be bad next year.
Abramov was killer in the queue. It was killer with the Gatineau Olympique, where he had 26 points in 16 games, and with the Victoriaville Tigre, where he had 78 points in 40 games this year. With the Cleveland Monsters of the AHL, 12 goals, 10 assists for 22 points in 52 games. He's a little winger, 5'9", 171 pounds, but he is extremely talented. And who was the other player?
It was.
What happened to your voice there?
Oh,
All
I
right?
forget. I don't know.
You gonna survive?
Manny out. Steve just tweeted exactly what you said. The Columbus 2021 is the wild card here.
Okay.
No guarantee in my mind they don't suck next year. If Panarin and Bobrovsky aren't there, I don't think they do. I can't see that.
No.
Is it
Maybe it's just
Jonathan
they've been so good
Davidson,
for- what's
the
that?
prospect? Jonathan Davidson?
Davidson with the two S's.
10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points in 35 games in Sweden.
Is that
which is good?
Ottawa that's going the other way, or the
That's
one
going
that's coming to
from
Ottawa?
Columbus to
To
Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
He
Sorry,
is
they're both
a
on back.
2017 sixth round pick. So, but it's the picks. Jesse, to answer your question, we're not done yet. What if you accidentally fall ass backwards into what if Columbus, it's not going to happen, first of all.
Okay.
Second of all, what if Columbus misses the playoffs this year and next, and Ottawa gets 2 lottery picks?
Duchene trade was genius.
Accidentally. Wow.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Now, if you look at what they have left, too, you've got Dzingel and you've got Stone, Stone is arguably the most valuable of the three guys.
Stone should be worth more.
Well, so then what does Calgary pay for Stone? Or what does Winnipeg pay for Stone?
Calgary. That was a good one. I didn't even think of that.
Calgary apparently is in on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's been under the
a good
surface.
fit.
Like, if you're Calgary, you've got a really good prospect pool there, especially on defense. You've got some great veterans signed up. Why wouldn't you throw a couple firsts at them? Just get him. Just get them.
You got a
Calgary's
shot.
doing they are a phenomenal hockey team.
I'm waiting for someone in the West to really load up because I think that conference is wide open. The Jets should scare me more than they do. They don't.
Yeah, but they got 20 games figured out.
Yeah, I know. The Preds, too.
Wait, if you're the Jets, and I was going to ask this with Duchene, but Could you see a deal where you flip Laine for all three of the Sens guys? Now, two of them.
That's what I suggested.
Would you do that? For Dzingel, Stone, and Duchene in a vacuum, would you do that?
Okay, with Laine,
gives you a
you're
line.
probably still in the Cup conversation, at least, for half a decade. With Ottawa's top line and already one of the best teams in the league, you probably waltz to the Stanley Cup final in 13 games. You lose one, and you freak out about it all day until you kill them 5-0 the next game.
Imagine a cup in Winnipeg. They would just flip. Like, it would just be cool.
Yeah.
We'd hear the parade from here.
Yeah.
We should go.
Oh,
It'd be
like great. They'd walk to Toronto to rub our nose in it.
Yeah. And they deserve to do it.
We don't even have a rivalry. We don't care. Oh, it'd be amazing.
We don't care. Jets, Jets. Interesting.
Now,
Now,
from what I've been hearing, man, Jets fans are open to the idea of trading Patrick Laine.
yeah. Now, is that just because he struggled since November?
That's a long time. Now, I think it's a mistake to give up. Like, okay, let's say there's something wrong with him, okay? Whether I don't know
If it's
what
an
it is.
injury, that's one thing,
I
right?
don't know what it is. But it's like sort of what I said earlier with Wilson. Patrick Laine, when he scored, I think it was 12 goals in 12 games. What's crazy is he's actually much closer to that player than the player he's been for the past 35 or 36. His career suggests he's a monster rather than whatever the hell he's been, like you said, since American Thanksgiving or whatever it is. That's worth rehabbing. That's worth fixing. That Patrick Laine, at his best, is clearly worth it.
So here's the question then. Can they afford him?
Well, he's going to be like how I don't know what on earth that contract looks like. It has to be a bridge deal.
Yeah, I would think so.
You can't possibly give this player as much faith as you have in him. 8 years. You can't offer him Jack Eichel's contract.
No.
You can't. No, but if he performed at the level we know he can perform, he'd easily get Jack Eichel's contract, I think.
He'd have maybe like Nylander comparable.
Oh, no. That'd be a steal. That'd be a
No, like
steal.
right now.
For a bridge.
No,
Less? No.
he's going to get like 2 years. Dude, I really don't know. It's such a strange deal. You're talking about the elite of the elite when it comes to goal scoring when he's on. He's not on at all. Like, what a bizarre season. He started slow, was hands down the best goal scorer in the league, and got worse than when he was at the beginning. Like 2 years, I don't know, because they're talking about like Kapanen's comparables is like 2 years, roughly $3 million. Patrick Laine, I have no idea what you even offer him. 2 years, 5?
You
I
know
don't
what's going to happen?
2 years, 10.
You know what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
There's going to be like
Leafs.
10 games left. He's going to be on the Jets. He's going to light it up. He's going to score like 13 goals in 8 games and then go into the playoffs and have a great playoff so that everybody's going to be confused come contract time.
You know what's amazing? Looking at his totals from this year, he's still got 25 goals.
Yeah, he's going to score 30 goals easily.
Dude, he might... Dude, if he gets hot, he might finish the season with 40.
It could happen.
If he's less hot than he was during his hot streak, he'll hit 40.
Yeah.
What a weird player. What a weird situation. I don't know what to do there.
Just confirming the conditional first
Oh.
in 2020. It is a conditional first if Duchene resigns. Doesn't look like it's lottery protected.
So
Oh, wow.
I said Ottawa's got to get at least 2 firsts. Bing, bing.
Frisky. That makes me feel good inside.
Okay, that's now the creepiest thing that's been said on the show. Yes.
Hey, sorry, continue.
Whoa.
I
got to give hats off to Pierre Dorian. I think that's a great, great deal.
And hats off to our new partner, Crown Royal,
Hey!
who are joining the show till the end of the season. We're so pumped to have them aboard. Now, remember, mark this down on your calendar. We will have full details for you next week. Last game of the season, Leafs Habs, April 6th, Real Sports. We'll let you know everything you need to know next episode as we are recapping the trade deadline. So this is an interesting trade. Now, you were talking about Laine cooling off. There's another player I'd like to talk about cooling off.
Who's this?
This player in October had a 1.33 points per game.
Oh.
In November, a 1.43 points per game. In December, a 1.31 points per game. And then 2019 happened. January, a 0.90 points per game.
Still very good.
February, a 0.70 points per game.
Oh.
Who am I talking about?
Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner.
What? Wow. Wow. You nailed it. Wow. Okay. I believe it.
Now, if
He's
this
been stupid hot.
Let's say this trend continues.
Oh, you're about to have to put money in.
This is awesome.
You're about to have to put
So
money in.
you've got, let's say into March, it's in and around 0.8 points per game.
It's bad.
Who's it bad for?
The Leafs. Mitch Marner's
Is
a
it
star
bad
for
for
the
their
Leafs.
negotiation, though?
Put money in. Put money in
Is
right
the
now.
Marner camp throwing away money by not signing this extension now? Is he a $10 million player if he's not a point-a-game player?
This is
That
an
agent-
absurd conversation.
It is an absurd conversation, first of all. Second of all, that agent should have never opened his damn mouth. It's from the moment that those quotes came out. From the moment. Can you find out when he said those things and look at his game by game?
I would ask Jesse for that. He's
Jesse,
quicker on the draw.
Can you the day? Well, it would be the day of the Matthews extension,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then his
I'll
game
pull it
by
up.
game since then. He should have
The
never
only
opened
reason I
his
say
mouth.
Jesse is because I wouldn't know where to start to look for that.
It'd be nice to get at least one of the guys locked up to the full 8 for crying out loud. Marner, similar to the Leafs last night, I'm less concerned with because, listen, lately he hasn't looked his usual Mitch Marner self. Last night I thought he did. But he's a player who you can tell exactly how he's feeling mentally sometimes with the way he plays. He's been working hard. He's been blocking shots. He's been speedy. He's been doing all the things that you need to do when the puck's not going in for you. But you know what he has done a few times that Mitch Marner tends to do when his confidence falters? He wasn't shooting. He's looking off shots. He's not taking shots when he has a perfect opportunity, which he was sort of doing very, very early in the season. I think earlier in the season it was more based in I'm the best playmaker in the league, so I have to pass it.
Yeah.
It was when he added that shot to his repertoire where no one could stop him. No one can stop this player.
I have the numbers for you if you want it.
If you want the Leafs to win a cup, you want Mitch Marner to succeed.
So on February 5th, the Leafs signed Austin Matthews to an extension. That's when Mitch Marner's agent said things.
Don Cherry's birthday.
Since then, Mitch Marner has 1 goal and 5 assists.
In how many games?
8 games.
Ah, come on. That's a great streak for most players.
Tweet from Dmitry Filipovich. I'm not worried about the Blue Jackets first rounder in 2020. There's no way a team with Matt Duchene on it promptly proceeds to bottom out. Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow. That's a wow moment right there. He's so fucking right. Like, it's scary. That was good.
Man,
Man,
you
I don't know why people aren't more excited about the return the Sens got, by the way.
They probably are. It's just you're doing a
I'm
show.
reading the tweet. I'm going, people are like, oh, that's a fine return. That's a freaking great
That's
return.
real good. It's got potential to be great. Well, and you know what's been simmering under the surface?
What's that?
Is I'm noticing a lot of people, because the Islanders want to add, and people are going, dude, ask them for their 2020 first. Ask them for their first next year.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people still don't believe.
I
That
know.
would be a good pick.
I straight up don't believe. I think they're like Buffalo, only Buffalo regressed and the Islanders haven't. I
See,
think they're-
hockey's such a dumb sport,
the-
though, and you can capture magic in a bottle.
Sure, the Avalanche. To
They could
me,
ride this to a cup.
remember the Avalanche from like a few years ago when they finished first? Everybody's like, they're going to fall out. It's going to happen. And it didn't. And then the first round, they got killed. And the next year, they're the worst team in the league for 2 years. That, I don't think the Islanders are this good. Sorry, I just don't.
I don't know about this good, but they're damn good.
To back up your Marner point, in those 8 games, he did have 2 games in there where he didn't have a shot on goal.
There you go, man.
That's something interesting.
It is.
If the Ottawa Senators do trade Mark Stone, the belief is they'd be looking for 4 elements in the trade. It could be as much as 2 first-round picks and 2 very good prospects, according to Bob McKenzie.
Sens might get
They might get it.
5 firsts by the time this is 6. There's a team willing to spend a first round pick on Cody Ceci.
And what about
100%?
And what about a first round pick on Dangle? You got to think now. If that's the market for Duchene, you got to think Dangle's at least worth one, or a good prospect.
Okay, so with the Oilers, I often said I think a lot of their shenanigans comes from above Peter Chiarelli.
No kidding.
I also don't think he's a very good GM. What if Pierre Dorian's awesome?
We're about to find out.
And it's huge. I love this deal for the Sens.
I do too.
I love this deal for the Sens. As a Leafs fan, I'm not stoked.
You know, I love this deal. Ridge Wallets, 10% off. 10% off. I love this deal for you. If you're looking for a new wallet, we all use them. They're right here. You can see it every episode. They are scratch-proof. They are waterproof. They are clutter-proof. And that's key for us because, especially for Steve and I, not being the most organized people in the world.
No. Were you just offered an 8-year contract by the Columbus Blue Jackets? Put that money in your Ridge wallet.
That's right. Well, who carries cash? But there is a cash clip on the end of it. One of the things that I personally love about these wallets is that they're basically indestructible. However, they come with a warranty. So if you do find a way to mangle yours, there is recourse. You can get it fixed. And that's what's so cool. So it's interesting to think, hey, why would I invest that much money in a wallet? Most people are like, hey, you know, like I spend $10, I get a wallet. Well, you got to replace that wallet probably once a year?
Once every 5 years for me.
Once every 5 years for you. Yeah, but then you got to be the guy who's like Steve, who pulls out his wallet that used to be black and it's turning like a nice gray color with frayed ends.
Oh, Steve, it looks like there's a doily hanging out of your pocket. Yeah. Oh, that's a leather wallet.
It's my wallet.
Yes.
You want to look professional. And actually, it's funny. I was at Loblaws the other day, and I pulled this out, and the guy's like, whoa, what kind of wallet is that? And I was
what
like,
is that?
That's kind of cool.
And it's a true story. I said, it's a Ridge wallet, blah, blah, blah. And I actually did not give him our code for the SCP. And afterwards, I was like, I just missed a prime sales opportunity, and I'm an idiot.
Wow,
but
you're a piece of garbage.
I'm going to give it to you now. If you want 10% off these wallets, a worthwhile 10%, just use the code SDP. You can go to Ridge Wallets.
Very cool.
Just Google it. Easy.
And that man's name was Mitch Marner.
So, unlike the Ottawa Senators, we're giving you 10% off a Ridge wallet.
How about this? You bring a Panago pizza to Real Sports on April 4th, and Steve will sign your Ridge wallet.
Whoa!
Whoa. And over a Crown Royal.
Yes, I forgot that.
As we read his book aloud.
Yes!
Read his book aloud.
There it is.
With our
in a front foot shirt.
Yeah!
High five. High five. Merch. High five.
We're trying to make a living.
Yes. What's wrong with us?
So, Connor McDavid's a dirty-ass player, huh?
Yeah, what a goon. What a piece of garbage.
Now, Jesse doesn't think that Connor McDavid deserves to get suspended. If you look at, first off, thank you, Edmonton, for beating the Isles yesterday. Secondly, Connor McDavid puts his shoulder into Nick Leddy's face. I think this definitely warrants the call that he got, and I think because Connor McDavid is getting a call, he's getting at least one game.
If Tom Wilson lays that hit, we talk about it for 20 minutes.
Now, Jesse, can you explain why you do not think that he deserves it?
Adam Wild. Steve Dangle.
Jesse Blake.
Imagine we're sitting here on Monday morning. They've made the announcement that
Oh, God, I'm so tired.
that Connor McDavid has been fined $15,000, the maximum under the CBA or whatever the number is. I don't know what the number is.
I think it's less than that.
$84, the maximum under the CBA. And everyone is upset. Is that not more fun than Connor McDavid being suspended for a game and everyone being like, that's reasonable? Isn't it more fun if everybody is overreacting because Edmonton got something?
Jesse, my adorable spring child, you actually think McDavid being fined is the funniest scenario possible?
Yeah, because I think everyone will be outraged.
McDavid getting suspended for any amount of games is easily the most entertaining option possible. Because you're forgetting that the fan base that will freak out, granted it's only one, but it's a hell of a one, will be Edmonton Oilers fans. Imagine they give McDavid 5 games
See, but that's...
Do you think there's an Edmonton left next week? No, there isn't. The mall is gone. Come on. That's the most entertaining scenario. My bet, max of 2. He probably maybe gets 1.
You know what I want to know?
I don't think it'll be a fine. I think he'll get 1.
I don't know how they calculate this. I don't think they pay you by game in the NHL.
I want to say it's by like date.
So
I don't actually know.
So I'm basing the season on about 180 days. Some seasons are 190, some are 186. You know, so I'm like saying about 100. So it's about half.
A suspension.
That's $70,000 a day he makes at $12.5 million.
It's going to be an expensive suspension if he's suspended.
If he is, you're talking about 140 grand lost. That's the way to hit him.
Yeah.
Also, the Oilers without McDavid in the lineup are just hilarious.
They got a
They're hilarious with him in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, but like I think he missed a game a couple days ago, and it was like, wow.
Can you pull up Ottawa's lineup from last night, by the way? We were going to bring that up. Because, okay, so there's an interesting thing going on. So the Sens lost in the, I think, very strong trade that they just made. They called up Drake Batherson, who's been really good for them in Belleville. And is it Logan Brown? There's 2 Browns, and I keep forgetting their names. Anyway, Brown. Call it Batherson and Brown. And I saw Dreger say, I disagree with this, leave them in Belleville, let them play. Which is usually what I would say. However, at some point, your National Hockey League team needs to ice a roster. Here's the lineup from last night. I was hoping for the actual lines, but okay. Brady Tkachuk, Bobby Ryan, Zach Smith, Colin White, Rudolph Balcers, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Magnus Pyarvi, Chris Tierney, Philip Schlappick, Michael Bodker, Darren Archibald.
Who?
What is that? They're D. Dylan DeMello, Cody Ceci, Cody Golubeff, Max Lajoie, is it Brandon Harper? I don't even remember. He was awful. Matthews ate him alive. Thomas Chabot, easily the best of the bunch, somehow -3, and Christian Jaros. Cody Ceci is the only defenseman on Ottawa who makes more than $900,000.
Wow.
Berkshire
Eugene's
texted me
getting
that
his
yesterday.
money back, that's for sure.
And Anders Nilsson in net. That it's just not an NHL roster. And what I said the other day about the Sens is at very least they can score goals. They've scored goals all year. And then you take out Stone, Duchesne, and Dangle. Listen, I'm not criticizing that. I understand why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And if you keep making trades like the one you just did with Matt Duchesne, you're going to have success. But for the love of God, there's 2 months left and you need to ice a hockey team.
The belief from the insiders right now is that Columbus is not done.
Like today? Woo!
Today.
Hell yeah.
Today, this weekend. We'll see.
I'm very interested. It's a shame because we're not going to get to do a show until probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
Adam had a very fun idea to do one on Sunday, and I just can't.
And then
guys.
one on Monday.
I'll die. No, I'm going to be on the air from 8 to 5.
Nikita Kucherov scored his 100th point last night. Is that the best contract in the NHL?
This year, yeah.
At $9.5 million.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't even think he's making 9.5 this year. I think he's still
is that start next year?
I think he's still on his 4
At
something.
9.5, I would still make
It's
the
still
argument it's
great.
the best contract in the NHL.
Well, I don't know about best,
If
but
only
it's
the
damn
Leafs,
good.
If the Leafs had just got the damn extensions done this summer, get it done. Damn it. Anyway, Mike Hoffman has been asked to submit his no-trade list. He makes $5.1 million. It's believed that he's got a 10-team no-trade list. And it is believed that all the teams on his no-trade list are teams that wouldn't be in the playoffs anyway. So,
Well, and like what? I don't understand what the Florida Panthers want to be or think they are. I don't understand. Like you nailed that trade.
keep it.
You nailed it so hard, and you're
And
just
you
going
got
to
a
get
guy
rid of him.
who's on a pretty easy contract to swallow for the 60 points, 70
Like,
points
just-
he brings every year.
Just fold. just move. Just what are you doing? Listen, I'll feel terrible for the fans, but I just don't understand what they're doing.
The Athletic has a trade board. And I'm going to go through some of these names, and I just want to get everybody's guess on whether or not they're moved. Now, the number one guy on their list, I think, is going to be a consensus no. The number one guy on the Athletics top 20 trade board is Artemi Panarin.
Yeah.
I think we now know. I am going to say Artemi Panarin is not traded.
I think you're right. I think, listen, good for the Blue Jackets, man. It's, oh boy, they're taking a huge risk. But Jesse Blake special. They're betting on themselves.
You know what I also like about this?
What?
If you're Artemi Panarin and you see Jarmo Kekalainen's done this, and you know that he can re-sign you and re-sign Duchene, and you have a good little chemistry with Duchene, I mean, they're both offensively minded and they're going to drive Torts nuts because they never get back. Or at least that's the word on the street with Duchene.
But they'll never have to.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. Like, what possible need for that would there be? I don't know. I think this is pretty cool. And you can re-sign. They can afford to re-sign Duchene. That's the key, right? They could get them both back. Next one, Mark Stone. Center.
Yeah, he's gone.
You think he's gone?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt Duchene has already been traded. He was at number 3. Wayne Simmons, Philadelphia Flyers. By the way, did you think Mark Stone's traded, Jesse?
Stone?
Yeah.
I think Stone resigns.
Wow.
I think we see a last-minute thing get done, or at least a guarantee that it'll get done before he's free.
See, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, no,
Yeah?
you cannot let 3 o'clock on Monday pass without a contract.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Then I
can't-
think
you
there's
just
a
can't risk it.
contract. I think he remains in Ottawa. I think you need a guy there who's going to be a good player because the rest of the team is not.
Good player. I also I don't think rebuilds take as long as they used to. I think the Sens are like 2 defensemen, not even stars, away from at least being in playoff contention. Maybe not great,
Yeah.
but at least being in playoff contention. Well, now if they get rid of these 3 big forwards, that obviously changes things.
Yeah, and I always looked at Stone as the guy who can stick around to the end of the rebuild when you want to be good. He'll still be there. And you'll need this guy when you want to be good. Why
If
not
that's
get
what
him
he-
done now?
If that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, if that's what he wants.
Yeah, I think Stone's gone.
All right.
I think he's going
Who else
to.
you got?
Okay.
Oh, Simmons.
yeah, so Simmons is the next guy.
I thought I read the other day that the Flyers actually sort of want to see if they're going to base their whole plan for Monday on whether or not they win or lose 2 games.
The Flyers aren't eager to deal him right now with the way the team is playing and still haven't ruled out a contract extension.
The way the team is playing, the way Carter Hart is playing. Also, what did you get Talbot for? I don't. God.
Who knows?
Maybe Hextall was right. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Sergei Bobrovsky, the Blue Jackets. I'm going to say no now.
Yeah, probably not. I think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible.
Where do you think he goes if he moves?
Maybe Florida.
Do you get Mike Hoffman back? Hoffman, Duchene, Panarin? Ooh. Woo!
Could be a thing. Could be a thing. I mean,
I
I'm
would
interested to see what Columbus does because they got no picks. Like, it can't be a big move.
But
they
you
got
can move
left, can it?
Bobrovsky.
Unless you move Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if the Duke, the noble Duke of Clare, gets traded after what Torts said. Man, I listened to the full quote. It is a lot more scathing than I thought.
Yeah, he said he's got a problem listening.
Well, he can't play, and he's off the rails, and he's
Yeah,
the sort of player, if you get him motivated, he's friggin' unreal. He's a highlight reel. I don't know if that's the way to do it, but bold
that's the way-
strategy.
that is the way Torts does it.
Bold strategy, Torts.
Kevin Hayes, New York Rangers.
Yeah, he's big.
The Rangers seem
And
to
the
be
Rangers
doing this.
stink.
They seem to be doing this rebuild thing right. Like
I
they're-
think so.
They're getting good value for the players they've shipped out, especially starting with Ryan McDonough last year.
Yep.
Assuming they can move Zuccarello and Hayes, and I'm sure Zuccarello will come up later on the list, and get somewhat a little bit less than what maybe Duchene and Stone might get you, but still get some pretty good return on those guys. Oh, I mean, look, even like a Chris Kreider, if that guy moves,
Chris Kreider, I would adore on the Leafs.
But you wouldn't
he would
adore-
shut so many people up too.
you would not adore the price.
No, I would not.
So you think Kevin Hayes traded?
Kevin Hayes is traded, yes.
Jesse, Kevin Hayes?
Yes.
I'm going to go with yes on
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
Mike
I think that's an
Hoffman,
easy one.
who I mentioned. Mike Hoffman has had to submit the 10-team no-trade list. If you're Florida and what you do doesn't make sense, to me, if I'm Florida and I do not make sense,
He does not make sense.
I would trade him because I don't make sense. You also have Derek Brassard too that you have to trade.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I guess both are gone.
Well, not necessarily. They're saying Derek Brassard has enjoyed his time in Florida, and there could be a fit if both sides are interested.
I don't understand!
Who doesn't enjoy
I'm
Florida?
confused. Is Florida rebuilding or nah?
They're a team with Dale Talon as the GM.
What I would say is they're talenting.
Yeah.
They're doing what Dave Talon does, which is,
Which is spin
Which is, we don't
tires.
Every day is a very merry unbirthday
Okay.
in Florida. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Gus Nyquist, Red Wings.
Poor Barkov. I think he stays with the Red Wings.
He has a no-trade clause, and as of earlier this week, has not been asked to waive it.
Yeah, he stays.
I'm going to say he stays, too, because the Red Wings are kleptomaniacs. They love hanging on to every player that's ever signed there, ever.
I think the one guy who might move is Jensen, but I think Howard and Nyquist stay.
Yep. I mean, if you look at what happened with Vanek and Green, too, just keep signing extensions to play in
Hey.
Detroit. Matt Zuccarello, 13 points in 11 games since in January, and followed it up with 7 points in 6 games in February. What do you think? Does he get moved? I'm going to say yes, because I think the Rangers are serious about this rebuild.
I'm going to say no, because at some point you need to keep some players. It's important not to trade absolutely everybody. So I think he stays.
Okay.
Might be wrong.
Eli Tolvanen, Predators. Now, this is the thing. Apparently, every Predator call, every player they want,
Give us Tolvanen.
Tolvanen.
Oh, wow.
It has to be Tolvanen. They can't get anybody else. This is what I read yesterday. He can't get anyone else sold on any other player on the roster. Tolvanen is the one people want from the Predators roster. But that's the guy, when you get tight on the cap and he's still got another ELC year left, those are the guys you need.
Yep.
Look at the huge names that are available and listen to the teams in on them. Calgary, Winnipeg. I think Tolvanen gets moved.
You're going to say yes. I'm going to say no, because I think they need him for the cap.
I agree, but people tend to forget the rules
Jesse?
around this time of year.
I'm on the no. I think they make the smart call and don't move them.
Michael Furlan, Carolina Hurricanes.
Forgot all about that one.
Yeah. This should have been done.
Well, I agreed.
Yeah, well,
Jesse, and
how's it
I think it's
I-
too late now.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Because now, here's the thing. If they'd moved Furlan 6 weeks ago, before Dzingel, well, we knew sort of Dzingel was, but there was still a good chance that Duchesne and Stone were going to be moved, or sorry, kept.
Yeah.
Ottawa's really trying to press. I felt like that was the Hurricanes' window for teams that were like, I can't wait for Ottawa. I need to get this done now.
The Kings were smart. They got
did it.
all their stuff done early because they knew they weren't the big sellers. I think the Kings have done a great job.
They did do a great job. I think the Leafs did great in the Kings deal, and I think the Kings did great in the Leafs deal.
Yep.
It was a good trade.
And they got a couple picks for Hagelin.
Yeah.
And, yep.
The third and the sixth.
They've done fine.
So, Furlan, I'm going to say yes, traded, because they're not going to be able to re-sign.
I'm going to say no because what the hell, dude?
So you
Like,
say
don't-
no,
don't-
and they don't re-sign him.
Yes,
Can you
correct.
imagine?
No, that's what I think happens.
That'd be
Because,
the most-
dude, you don't need to trade every free agent. Stop it. It's not a video game.
And the reason that
Do you
they
want to
can't-
win or not?
They wanted to keep him, but they won't pay him what he wants.
If you're Carolina, there's a good chance you play whoever is top of the Metro. If you're Carolina, you potentially have the Islanders in a first-round series. Now, not to disrespect the Islanders, but you could maybe win that. You can maybe win. Like, what if it happen? What if it works out this way, where the Islanders peaked a little too early, and they're not as strong as the playoffs approach, and the Hurricanes continue to rise?
Take warning, Steven.
Take warning. I think
You think he stays?
for the love of God, like, try to sign him. What is
They
this
did.
shit about?
They did.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Like, what is this shit about? Like, oh, we need forwards.
We need good players. We don't want to pay anybody anything.
Yeah, and you just got rid of Jeff Skinner. Stop.
Yeah.
Try to make the playoffs, for crying out loud. Hey, we're all about fun. We're the fun team. Listen, I'm all for the storm surge, but you know what's fun? The playoffs. Make it.
Bunch of jerks.
Keep them.
Jesse, did you say trade or keep?
Keep him.
Whoa.
Because Steve got me all motivated.
I think he's going to get traded. Charlie Coyle was already moved.
Yes.
What do we think about that move?
Oh,
What does it mean for the Leafs?
crying out loud. It just means the Bruins are more Bruiny, and I hate it.
They are super Bruiny. He's a
God.
big boy.
The Bruins are the most on-brand team in the NHL.
Yeah.
I think. They love Bruins players.
The only time that they weren't good is when they got unbruining. Like in the before the Tuukka Rask deal, basically. Remember that stretch where they didn't make the playoffs and they kind of stunk? They were not the Bruins. And then they became the Bruins and then they won the cup.
There was a song, I don't remember who it was by, maybe the Dropkick Murphys, called Thank God for the Boston Bruins. And it's a song basically about how if it weren't for the Bruins, the city of Boston would have forgotten what it's like to lose. And then, of course, they won the 2011 Cup, like 2 years later.
Wow.
That damn team.
Ryan Dzingel Senators. I'm going to say moved.
Moved, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't even talked about extensions.
No.
Oh, they haven't? Okay, he's going to get
Well,
moved.
like, nobody's mentioned anything. No one even mentioned him until, like, this week. But I was like, yeah, guys, he's a UFA and he scores a lot.
I don't get it.
Marcus Johansson, Devils. This is a really interesting one.
Yes.
He's healthy, too.
I think there's a chance he goes to Toronto.
Why do you say that?
He's just sort of the perfect fit.
And what is he? What is he?
He's big, but he also has some size and speed, and the bastard friggin' eliminated the Leafs in the playoffs, and the Leafs like signing those guys for some reason.
Now, is he a winger center?
He's a right winger who shoots left. Where's he going in?
So he's a left winger. The Leafs need left.
Where's he going in
And
the
I think
lineup?
he's played some center in his career. It's just versatility.
Leafs need left wing help.
It's just
If
versatility.
of the two wings, they could use that the most.
That's part of the reason why I think Kadri on the left makes so much sense.
Interesting. Jimmy Howard, Detroit Red Wings. I'm going to say stay.
I'm going to say stay.
The Red Wings are the kleptomaniacs of the NHL.
They should extend him, though. Like, that's one where
Yes.
I defend them, unless it's a really stupid contract.
Jesse.
Everyone in Detroit is staying forever.
Yeah, except for maybe Nick Jensen. But yeah. You
No,
think Nick Jensen?
even Nick Jensen.
We'll get to Nick Jensen.
7 years.
We'll get to Nick Jensen.
8.
Number 16, Adam Enrique. Now, he's available, and they're saying
Is
just
he?
about every player on the Ducks roster is available. But he's also 29 years old and about to start a 5-year contract that goes with an annual salary of $5.825 million.
Can I go first?
Sure.
You can't trade the deal, so he's not going anywhere.
I'll say this. He might get traded if the Ducks are the ones trading away the picks. No, he's not going to get traded.
Said one executive, that's heavy. The deal hasn't even started yet. Wow!
Said
What?
one podcaster. Maybe you should have fired that GM a month ago.
Remember when
Said one
remember when Kessler signed that deal and Enrique signed that deal? We were all like, hey, warning signs, hey. Oh, but they keep making the playoffs.
Oh. Hey, Timo, who's on the tail end of a good run. Maybe you
Ducks.
should keep re-signing all these guys.
Double down and double down and double down, and here's a little double down.
Sir, you have a perfect 21. Hit me.
Yeah, I know.
You
Sir, that's 22. Hit me.
Yeah, like they literally ate the remaining cap room that they would have had next year on Silverberg's new deal, which they cannot announce yet.
They let the voodoo that is Boudreaux in Game 7s ruin their very good team. It's a shame.
It is a shame. It's a real shame, especially because Boudreaux was really great for them. Nick Jensen, Detroit Red Wings at number 17.
He moves.
Underlying numbers suggest he's one of the best values at the trade deadline, according to the Athletics' Max Boltman. You think he moves? Where does he move, and what does he bring to the team that he moves for? He's consistently been Detroit's best defenseman this year.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he comes to Toronto. The problem is if I'm Detroit, I don't want to give him up for nothing, and I especially don't want to give him up to Toronto for nothing. Something to consider. So the hot rumor out there was that the Leafs were after Mike Green, and they even had a deal in place for Mike Green. And the reason Mike Green did not come to the Leafs is he talked to his Red Wings teammates and was like, hey, should I go play for Babcock? And they said no. So what is to stop that from happening again this time?
Because
the
Nick
same
Jensen
scenario.
doesn't have a no-trade clause.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, screw him then. But then do you want that guy?
Here's the thing. If you're a player, and you ask your teammates about a former coach, and since that former coach left, they have not made the playoffs.
Yeah, like, I think so much less of Mike Green that he just decided, okay, rather than go with a coach who's a bit of a pain, I'm just going to stay with a team that stinks. What?
Like Val Filppula, I could understand when he didn't want to come to Toronto in the Boyle deal because he was with Tampa.
Yeah.
So they traded
What
him.
if I could stay?
But they traded him anyway to Philly.
And now he's in a great situation in Long Island.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He got himself a nice contract.
Obviously, Lou's a fan.
Obviously.
The Mike Green blocking the deal to Toronto was last year at the trade deadline, by the way.
Yeah.
So
And he was
almost
injured.
a year to this day. Yeah.
And he stayed with Detroit.
Yeah.
And then re-signed.
Okay. Good for you.
Some people don't care.
Yeah, some people don't care. And
Yeah,
do you
know
want
what?
that guy on
Fine,
your
listen,
team? I don't
I've
think
always
so.
looked at it like this. If you don't want to be on my team, and any team should look at this, if you don't want to be on my team, I don't want to have you. You should look at this at the relationships. If you don't want to be with me, if you can't say definitively right now that you don't want to be with me, then I don't want you either, baby.
Don't be
Later.
in a conditional relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what Ottawa should have done with Stone and Duchene a month ago. They let those two players dick them around. And when you are running a franchise, it has to be like, sorry, you better tell me by February 1st or I'm making a trade. And then that's what I would have done. And then I would have been like, okay, fine, see you later.
Can I make a stab in the dark guess? A complete blind guess right here.
Go.
I think Pierre said, "What's it going to take?" And the player said, "Here's what it's going to take." And Pierre said, "Cool, I don't think we're going to be able to get a deal done." And then he went to Papa Eugene and he said, "We're not going to be able to get a deal done." And Eugene said, "Try it again." And he did that for a month. And now here we are today.
Yeah, maybe. You might be right. Every time Dorian
Ownership.
seems to want to make a deal, like with Carlson and with Hoffman, he was forced to trade them both. Like he got more for Duchene than he got for Carlson. He 100%.
Which is, yeah.
He 100%.
Yeah, I
he
don't
got-
disagree with that.
And I would say
That's
he got
wild.
doubly better for Duchene than he did for Carlson.
It's Adam.
Sorry. No pun
100%.
intended. That's crazy.
He might be right. Oh my God.
If you took Carlson's deal and you doubled it, it would still not be as good as the Duchene haul.
Can you bring that up?
The Eric Olsen deal?
Because
Yeah,
I forget.
yeah.
All I
Because guys like Chris Tierney
that is one thing. Okay, so the Sens did real
Michael
well in the
Parker?
Duchene deal. I know.
Is he even playing for them right now? Is he injured?
Yeah. The Duchene deal, I think, is really, really good for the future of the Sens.
Huge.
However, I think they gotta get some roster players back. It's something they should use to their advantage. There's teams who are going to need to clear cap.
Yeah.
Try to get a couple roster players in return because for crying out loud,
Call
you
the
got
Leafs.
to ice the hockey team.
Call the Leafs. We'll take Nikita Zaitsev off your hands. What else can we get?
They're not gonna. God, I wish.
All right, I have it here.
It'd be a good thing for them. They could hit the cap floor with them. Or Patty Marleau's contract next year. Just throwing that out there.
The Ottawa Senators have traded Captain Erik Karlsson to San Jose Sharks. The return includes several picks and projects. In exchange for Karlsson, the Senators receive 4 players: Chris Tierney, Dylan DeMello,
Who's gone?
Josh Norris,
Isn't he?
No, he's not.
Is Tierney gone? Josh Norris. Okay.
Neither of them.
Josh Norris, Rudolph Balcers, as well as first-round pick, 2019 or 2020, and a second-round pick in 2019. If the Sharks miss the playoffs in 2018-19, that's this year, the first rounder will be in 2019. Otherwise, so they're getting a 2020 first-round pick, a second-round pick this year, and the 4 players: Tierney, DeMello, Norris, and Balcers.
Yo, Adam's
And
right.
for Duchene, they got
2 firsts.
2 first,
Or
they-
conditional
a
first.
first and a conditional first.
a first and conditional first, and 2 prospects. Are we calling them?
Yes.
Yes, and 2
So
prospects.
And good
it's
ones.
it's a little bit conditional on Duchene re-signing, but if Duchene re-signs in Columbus, yes, the Sens got more for Duchene than they did
So
for Karlsson.
if he doesn't resign, what
Holy
is?
shit.
I forget the condition.
It's just that the first still comes, but the second first doesn't come.
It's not at all.
Yeah, no, the conditional first,
Yeah.
it's conditioned on Duchene re-signing.
And if he
which
doesn't resign, you get nothing.
you get nothing. Now,
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to say that Columbus, because they gave up that much, what do you want, Matt?
Yeah.
Like, if you're Matt Duchene, he got offered apparently the 8x8, right? He got $64 million over eight years. Columbus can now go to him and say, and Matt Duchene at $8 million, based on what centers are making, if you can get him for that, it's not bad.
I think you got to be a little strategic about this too, because if Bob and Panarin both bail, maybe you shouldn't sign Duchene so that you don't have to give up that first.
That's interesting.
What if you suck? What if a couple guys get hurt? What if Duchene's that guy? You're an injury away. Like, you're not deep enough. You're an injury away from giving up the third, second, first overall pick.
You know what I am surprised
Maybe
about?
twice in a row.
I am surprised Brandon Dubinsky did not go to Ottawa in that trade.
A little bit.
I think Columbus would have loved to have moved that contract. It might have cost them the 2021st without the condition, though.
This is going to be a very fun weekend.
Yeah.
I hope Monday's fun naturally because it's my first deadline that I get to be a part of.
I'm so proud.
I'd like to.
How proud are we of him?
Oh my God!
This is
it's
so
unbelievable.
I'm very excited. It's going to be a very, very, very busy day.
Yeah.
With that and writing a book and raising 2 beautiful dogs.
Oh,
everything's coming up. Steve Dangle.
Yeah.
Let's keep going here.
Except for I have bad handwriting.
Also, I just want to remind everyone to acquire Duchene. Ottawa sent out Kyle Turris, Andrew Hammond, Shane Bowers, this year's first-round pick, and a third-round pick.
And this year's first-round pick still might be first overall.
Jack Hughes. So there you go.
Or Capocacco. Ugh. Oh, God. Oh, God, that's... Listen. We all make mistakes. They made one. Once you've made it, you got to dig yourself out of it.
Double down.
Or double down. No, I don't, said Eugene.
Hit me.
We're about to hear 8-year extension Cody Ceci, 8-year extension Mark Stone, 8-year extension Ryan Dzingel. Listen, that's a big trade and it's a good one, I think.
Richard Panik.
Oh!
At times, the Coyotes have barely had enough warm bodies this season to field a lineup, so it's hard to imagine subtracting, but they're getting calls on Panik and aren't in a position as an organization to ignore them. The team is in the wild card race. It would be surprising to see it wouldn't be surprising to see John Chayka also pursue a younger player who would bolster the team in the short term. Now, I would be worried about going to the Coyotes if I'm any player. And that's not because of the ownership situation we've seen or whatever. Every player in the last 12 months that's been traded out of there has caught fire. And I think that they need a coaching change. I think you look at what Dylan Strome and Max Domi have done since leaving the Coyotes. I think you got to look long and hard at what is going on in Arizona with their medical staff, because that's a lot of injuries 2 years in a row, and B, players that were highly touted, highly skilled. We're talking about Max Domi, who was, an 8th overall pick? Dylan Strome, who was a 4?
He was a first-rounder. Dylan Strome was 3rd.
Yeah. 3rd. He was ahead of Mitch Marner, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow. It was what was it, McDavid, Eichel?
McDavid, Eichel, Strome, Marner.
And Strome has 51 points.
Yo, he's been good. He's been a point of game
so
player.
So what's going on in Arizona?
That's so interesting that you say that, Adam, because I had not thought of it that way. Here's how I've looked at it. Wow. They're getting some really good coaching in Arizona because everyone's been hurt and they're basically the roster on paper is basically a pile of rocks. And who did they get? For crying out loud, who did they get in the Strome trade? He was supposed to be big for them. Schmaltz?
Nick Schmaltz.
Nick Schmaltz. So he's out for the season, and they're still in the conversation. But yeah, Domi and Strome moved on and are having career years.
Do you want a coach who can get blood from the stone, which is what Tocchet is doing, or do you want a coach who lets superstars continue to be superstars or become the superstars they should be?
Or a coach who knows how to draw blood with a stone.
Oh, you see Mark Stone?
No, because your stone is Max Domi and Dylan Strome, and you bludgeon people with it because they're good players.
I don't know how.
I don't think that's a saying. I just made it up.
I would love to. I don't follow the Coyotes close enough to know, to be honest with you. It's hard to follow any team that close to really know unless you are following them every day. But their best point scorer right now has 38 points.
Oh, my God. Well, and Galch missed so much of the season.
I know, but so did Demers and so did all these players.
When was Ranta's last game?
Man, that guy's had a rough 2 seasons. It's a shame. And again, I picked Arizona to make the playoffs this year. They still might.
They still might. I agree with...
There's like an 8-team race for that wild card
They're
spot.
1 point back, but it's not 1 point back. It's
I agree with your grunt.
There's 6 teams who are one point back. So.
I still have faith in preseason Adams' prediction. Now, Jeff Carter, number 19 for the Kings. 3 more years on his deal that averages $5.27 million, but the actual salary starts to dive next season down to $3 and then $2 million per. For teams that aren't cap teams, It's a good deal. There was some belief that Carter had loosened up on the teams he'd be willing to join, but a source close to him shot that down. His preference is to continue to stay right where he is, and why not? He's in Los Angeles.
I don't think that happens just because there's too much time left on the deal, and he seems like a hometown guy who's going to stick around there.
I think it's
And by
revisited.
hometown, we mean Los Angeles.
Los Angeles,
Yeah.
new hometown.
Yeah, I mean, new home, like, he played there for a long
I know what
time.
you mean.
Yeah.
I think he gets traded just not this year. It's something that's revisited maybe next year or the year after.
2 years from now.
Yeah, it's such a long deal that, well, buckle up. You might be here a while.
I am shocked that there's not more Ilya Kovalchuk rumors, but I think that the contract that they signed him to, I think on another team, Ilya Kovalchuk's value might be close to what they signed him for. I definitely think they overpaid. He's a 35-year-old player we hadn't seen in 4 years. That is way too much money.
You signed him to be a good contributor. You didn't sign him to carry the whole damn load. And the Kings haven't scored at all.
And they didn't last year. And they had the chance last year to blow it up when they should have. And instead, they brought in Adam Oates and said, we need a culture change, and we're going to do it in the first 6 weeks of the season. That's what they did in October. You remember that?
Adam Oates.
Adam Oates, yeah, they brought him in as one of the, like, a special coach for a bit.
Oh.
And they're like, we play too defensive. We need to change our culture. And they did that, and then and nothing changed. You know why?
dear.
Because you don't have any goal scorers on the lineup. You didn't change what you needed to change. You made the management change, and what did the management do? Nothing. Finally, now they're doing something. The Muzzin deal, strong deal. The Hagelin deal, it started with Tanner
get
Pearson.
something?
Yeah, you got something.
Yeah,
But,
I don't
guys,
like... Pittsburgh's been able to salvage Tanner Pearson, so that's been good for them.
I just look at it like you could have had so much more, so much faster. And that's why I really like what the Rangers are doing, which is they're deconstructing that roster slowly and letting
admitting what they are.
young players coming up.
Yeah, admitting what they are.
Yeah. That's what you have to do.
Georgiev is getting the best apprenticeship anyone could possibly have.
Now, the last player on this list is Carl Hagelin. He's already moved. I, in place of Carl Hagelin, would like to ask you a question, each of you. Who is the under-the-cover player that we've not heard of yet that gets moved at this trade deadline? Just take a random stab in the dark that we haven't talked about.
Can I have a second?
Sure.
I want to look at some of the UFAs.
And I think I said Brandon Montour earlier. Who I meant was Josh Manson. When I was talking about the Ducks. I don't know why I said Montour. I meant Josh Manson, but there we are.
Well, under the radar, anyone from the Ducks and anyone from the Wild.
Pick a player.
Oh, boy.
I would love for you to pick a Wild player because that's just hilarious.
A real wild one. Jesse, which team are you looking up right now?
I'm just taking a look at some of the UFAs right now.
Okay.
Interesting.
And I just think it would be so... We'd see a lot more of these guys on the way out if their team was a little worse. Like
If their team was a little worse.
Like, if Boston right now is sitting outside of a playoff spot, where's Zdeno Chara going?
I know.
Like that's a conversation we could be having
Yeah.
if Boston was terrible, but they're too good.
Jesse, you're a year and a half late to the Chara to the Leafs conversation. I wanted it so bad. It's obviously never going to happen, but I want it to.
Just like so many guys on the Islanders too.
Yeah.
Like Anders Lee.
Yep.
Oh, I think we might have talked about that in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could have this ridiculous...
Like even
sellers
Eberle.
team.
Eberle's a UFA at the end of the year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Minnesota. Oh, Eric Stahl.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Or
Pick one.
Eric Fair.
Pick one.
Eric Fair. No, Eric Stahl.
And apparently there's rumblings that Carolina might be in on that, by the way.
Yes!
So that's
Oh, I
interesting
love
when you
it.
pick that up. Jesse, who do you think?
Yo, that's hilarious if they do that.
I'll give you mine since Jesse's still picking his.
All right, go ahead.
Jeff Skinner.
Oh.
Jeff Skinner's going to get traded, guys. And if the Sabres do not trade Jeff Skinner, they're insane. This is the best season Jeff Skinner will have. He's 26 years old.
Well, and he's going to ask for so much money.
He's going to get a lot of money. Somebody's going to give it to him. If the Jackets lose Panarin, Jeff Skinner might as well be a Columbus Blue Jacket. They're going to give him all that money. They will overpay. Because I don't think Jarmo Kekalainen's going into next year going, yeah, we're going to be bad with a conditional first on the line.
Hear me
Don't
out.
think so.
You're the Sabres. You took a step this year. Jeff Skinner was a big part of that step.
Sure.
You didn't give up a whole lot to get him. I think they should try to keep him.
I think you flip him for a ton of assets that help you take the step forward.
Unless you've been talking to teams, it's just too late. Unless it's not, because here's the thing.
Duchene just got 2 firsts, man.
Because it's so tight at the top and bottom of both conferences, except for Tampa. Bastards. Because it's so tight and sellers are selling so late, we're looking at that as a disadvantage for Ottawa. Not necessarily. Because this, we keep talking about fun. Mm-hmm. No. Okay. What a lot of fun things are? Irresponsible. I think this is going to be a very irresponsible deadline. And teams are just going to...
Well, it's because there's so many teams that are in it. There are so many teams that are in it. Like, you look at the wild card right now. Dallas in the West. Dallas 65 points, Minnesota 62. Those are your 2 wild card teams. Then it's 61 points each. Colorado, Arizona, Chicago. 60 points the Vancouver Canucks. If I am Buffalo, I am ringing Chicago off the hook. Jeff Skinner.
Oh, my goodness. Chicago is like a low-key contender.
Jeff Skinner would be phenomenal in Chicago.
Can you imagine? But if you're Chicago, what do you even give?
I don't know. Alex DeBrincat. That's who I want.
You hang up the phone. You hang up the phone.
Well, Chicago could re-sign Jeff Skinner.
I'm not acquiring Jeff Skinner for a guy who's going to be Jeff Skinner like next year.
Fine, we'll take Brent Seabrook's contract then too.
Okay, now you're getting reckless, Adam Wild.
If I was the Sabres general manager, I would do that. I'll take Seabrook's contract. He can be my third pairing guy until he's dead because his contract goes for the next 40 years.
He signed past that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But if I can get my hands on Alex DeBrincat and throw him beside Jack Eichel, I do that. No.
See, Adam's reckless. I like it.
I got something.
All right, what you got?
Our favorite team that always seems to do something dumb is going to do something dumb by Monday.
The Ducks?
Monday at 3. Is it 3? You would know. 3.
The Oilers?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, all right. Well, we know they're trying to dump salary.
Well, but they're also they have Chase on, who's been this found gold, and he's a UFA having a hot season. He is the perfect candidate to trade, and supposedly they don't even want to trade him.
Nope.
Nope. Do you think they're going to buy? No, you don't.
I think they buy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Because forget what we've done for the past month. We beat the Islanders the other day. Let's go.
Their goal.
Oh, yes, Jesse.
Their goal a week ago or 2 weeks ago was to make the playoffs, and then they went 3-8 or something in their last 11. But I don't think that goal has changed because they are the Edmonton Oilers and they know how to stick to their guns even though it's not working. So I think someone important on Edmonton goes. Do you think they can move Lucic if they retain salary on that 4 year?
I think Ottawa's going to need Lucic. I think Ottawa needs Lucic.
It's $6 million
no
until $6 million.
Does he have a no trade?
It's no movement clause. I don't know what the
I think
conditions
he
are.
probably would accept a trade pretty well anywhere
Till
this point
2023.
Should just be called a no Ottawa clause.
Well, it's not that he should probably want a fresh start. Is what I'm saying. It's not. Anyway, sorry.
$6 million till 2023. I think Edmonton retains on that, moves Lucic somewhere, and tries to buy.
Yo, my God.
Keithy G.
That's my guess.
Oh, damn, Jesse.
I am so excited for what could be the most maximum chaos trade deadline in a long time. There's just too many names that haven't moved yet. There's just too many names. Like, what's been killing the trade deadline in recent years is the slow bleed in the month before. The Duchene deal, the Muzzin deal, and everything else has been relatively minor.
When you have a bunch of teams, too, that are very competitive, especially towards the
it's
wild
so
card,
tight.
They gotta do something.
It's so unbelievably tight.
If you miss the playoffs and you're the general manager that didn't make the move, and you're like, no, I'm confident in my roster. You do that. The players blame you, the fans blame you, the coaches blame you. It's on you.
And if you're close, there's just it's too competitive of an industry. The type of personalities in it, they can't help themselves. If you're within a win of a playoff spot, which so many teams are, Doesn't matter if the smart move it appears to be selling. They can't help themselves. You think the Coyotes can help themselves? You think the Blackhawks can help themselves? You think the Wild can help themselves? You think the Sabres can help themselves? You think the Flyers can help themselves? There's 3 days. 3 days to come up with an answer. I'm excited.
Okay, let's quickly break down the actual Duchene trade first round selection thing before we go here.
Okay.
Because we're going to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think there's a need for a press conference today. It'll be just who wants to get traded. But this is how it works. According to Chris Johnston, should the draft lottery render the 2019 first selection a top 3 pick, the Senators will receive Columbus's 2020 first round selection instead. If Duchene signs a 2019-2020 contract with the Blue Jackets, Ottawa will receive Columbus's 2020 first round pick. However, if there's a case where the 2019 pick becomes the 2020 pick because it's a top 3, the 2020 pick will then move to 2021. So let's say Columbus falls out of the playoffs.
So it is protected.
Yes. So they are lottery protected. So let's say Columbus is out of the playoffs. Somehow they win the lottery, but they re-sign Duchene. Then it's 2020, 2021 instead of 1920.
How awkward is that conversation if you're Jarmo Kekalainen? I want to protect this first-round pick. Pierre Dorian goes, what the hell? Why? Because I don't want to end up like you. I don't want to make the same mistake you did.
But thanks for doing business with us.
Yeah, smart on them to, at very least, protect it.
It's going to be a fun trade deadline. Ladies and gentlemen, look for your one and only true love, Steve Dangle, on the Sportsnet deadline coverage on an actual television. Steve Dangle, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's not going to be like last year where I was just doing, hits from home. I'm going to be in studio. My call time is like 7:30 in the morning.
Dude, this is going to be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's going to be, I got producer Drew, the producer, from, you like that?
Not
from
really.
Hat
No.
Picks. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. From Hat Picks and Dang It's, we're going to be shooting videos all day long. I'm just going to be in front of a camera.
More skits, please.
More. Yeah. I'm going to bring in a llama.
What a cool moment.
It's going to be amazing. I'm going to get Brian Burke to ride a llama
And hold it. Cookies, Stanley Cup above his head.
above his head,
With his bunch of jerk shirt on.
shaped like a duck.
Did you get back to the Canes, by the way?
Yes, I did. Did they
Do you think the Minnesota Wild did?
return my DM? No, if I was the Minnesota Wild, I would never talk to the Hurricanes again. Give me Nino Niederreiter back. Duchene is a BJ.
Did they get back to you?
No, they did not.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I
Hey,
didn't
can you
realize
play
I
them?
didn't answer your question.
Yeah.
You,
That was great radio. Steve.
I'm
Thank
very
you for that.
tired.
That's awesome.
Let me go home!
All right, hey, we're out of here.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.